apparently controversial, to the man who appointed him, President Trump. MS Now reports that President Trump is considering firing Patel in the face of a growing list of controversies and internal frustration over Patel's tenure. The White House responding to the reporting, saying Patel is, quote, a critical member of the president's team. Ken Delanian and Chris O'Leary are back with us. And Ken, you are part of this MS Now team that reports that Director Patel's days at the FBI could be numbered, which the White House denies. What have you learned?
Well, Anna, my colleagues Carol Lenigan, Laura Barone-Lopez, and I are reporting that President Trump has grown increasingly frustrated with the bad press that Kash Patel has been getting about his use of taxpayer resources, including the FBI jet to fly around his girlfriend and a provision of a security detail for his girlfriend, the country singer Alexis Wilkins, and also for some of his premature tweeting on some key investigations. But we're in this bizarre situation where the White House and White House spokespeople in the DOJ and the FBI are all denouncing the story and saying that it's absolutely false, where behind the scenes we're being told that it's accurate and that despite what Donald Trump is saying, there still are plans eventually to replace Kash Patel with Andrew Bailey, who is serving as right now co-deputy FBI director. He's the former Missouri Attorney General. Now, when that will happen and whether the reporting of these concerns has changed the dynamic at all, that remains to be seen. But the concerns are real, and Kash Patel really has drawn the ire of a lot of people inside the Trump administration for the way he has been conducting himself and running the FBI, Anna.
Chris, you've been very critical of Patel. Do you think he needs to go?
I do, and I think Deputy Director Bongino needs to go. At the end of the day, they were hired, again, their sole qualification was loyalist to President Trump. They were outspoken critics, made allegations against the FBI, all of which were patently false, and no experience, no qualifications. They lacked the character and the disposition to be in leadership. We see the way Director Patel has conducted himself since being in the office and the seat only very briefly. He can't do the simple things well. God forbid we have a major crisis. He's going to fail spectacularly. Then there's the issue with abusing the position, stealing essentially taxpayer dollars by flying around not only the country, the world on these expeditions of his and, taking his girlfriend on a date to Penn State so she can sing the national anthem on a private jet at taxpayer dollars. And then, and this is, I think, arguably the most outrageous, during a government shutdown, he goes from there to Nashville and then on to the Boondoggle Ranch for 4 days while, government employees are not getting paid. He is at an exotic hunting ranch where he flew the G5 jet. He's got FBI agents protecting him. So that's outrageous. And then lastly, there is no defensible position to giving his girlfriend FBI security detail, not to mention SWAT. It is truly fraudulent activity. And if OIG inspectors were still in place, which they've all been removed, he would be under investigation for this. I mean, this is, every American.
It's all so crazy, it seems.
Every American, no matter what your political leanings are, should take a page from Patrick Henry, when he said, "I'm not a Virginian, I'm an American." Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, this is, abdicating his duties. It's a violation of his oath of office, and he's making Americans less safe.
Obviously, no love lost there between you and Patel, Chris, but it is, or it used to be at least, very unusual for a president to replace a Senate-confirmed FBI director before their 10-year term is up. Patel would potentially be the third to be forced out under Trump. First it was Comey, then Wray, now here we go again. Chris, how important is continuity in that position?
It's very important, and changes were made after violations were assessed during the end of the Hoover administration and the individuals who replaced him. The Church Committee, hearings really changed federal law enforcement and the intelligence community. But what they found was that you needed it to be an apolitical position and the ability to carry over administrations. If not, you were just another political appointee and you weren't really doing the work of the agency to mature it and to make sure things were going well. What we're seeing here is a political appointee with no qualifications, and he was put in that position because he's a loyalist, and the two previous directors were not doing the bidding of President Trump. So you should ask yourself, as an American, as a citizen, why does President Trump allow him to be there? It's because, there's some, ulterior motive, not because he's good at the job, not because he's good for the organization, not because he's protecting the Constitution, but because he is his hatchet man for whatever he needs to be done. And the most recent indicator of that is the fact that they're going to interview members of Congress right now. Mm-hmm. There's no foundational basis for doing that investigative activity. It's a political hatchet job, and all Americans should be outraged and concerned.
Does Patel have key allies inside the FBI, the rank and file? What about, the head of the DOJ? And who would replace him if he were to be ousted?
He's got precious few allies, Anna. And in fact, the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, has a great distaste for Kash Patel, though she would never say so publicly. There was an incident a few weeks ago where there was a big terror plot in Michigan that the FBI uncovered, and Patel announced arrests on social media before the rest of the government was prepared for that to happen. Bondi was furious about that. It caused real problems. People started to flee. Members of this plot started to flee to airports, and the FBI had to mount operations to round them up prematurely. So that's the kind of thing that really annoys people. In terms of who might replace him, we're told it would be Andrew Bailey, who has been named the co-director of the FBI. He was brought in to serve alongside Dan Bongino. He's the former Missouri Attorney General. He's very conservative, very down-the-line MAGA. Just as an example, he filed a lawsuit against Planned Parenthood last year based on video, doctored video from Project Veritas. But he's an Army veteran. He's got 4 children, 3 of whom he and his wife fostered and adopted. And people inside the FBI have told me that